Hi, this is the Cat's Library. I'll be your librarian today. In this video, I'm going to do an idea that I had about a year ago, but then decided it was too stupid. I was going to do at least 2 character designs in this video, but this one in particular took me 9 hours to get the drawing down. Here's the proof of that. You can see that right about there. And you can also see that there was also clips that were corrupted, or what I'm calling it. I have no idea what that is. That is what that is. It looks like that. And it just kept happening, and it did it twice. And there were two big ones, and there were a few other ones. And the first one, it cut out the coloring portion, and then the second time, it cut out the profile of the character turnaround. You can see it goes from there to there, goes back and forth, and there is no profile to this girl here. And so that's a little bit of a teaser for you about what's going to come up in the following episodes. Well, let's get into it. I'll show you how I got to that point in the first place. Engage speed paint. Also, I did not script this video at all, so it got a little bit rambly. But, engage speed paint anyway. I started out by drawing the character standing up. I am not very good at doing natural standing poses. I looked up multiple references for the outfits that I wanted to draw this time, like just for the first one. The second one, I just made up an outfit, which I probably should have done something, but I had multiple outfits, and there was a hat on the reference. And I tried to put the hat on the cheetah, but it didn't really work with the ears. I kept trying different ways of drawing the hair. It doesn't look like hair anymore. I changed everything about it, and it just looks like part of the head, but it still looks all right. Hair was one of the ways that I was trying to get her to look feminine. I am not sure how well that came across in the final image, but I tried my best. I put on some eyelashes on her, and now I'm doing the final pass. I did 2 sketch layers. I did the rough outline of what the form was. I did that yellow one, and now I'm doing the red one. I did a thinner line art this time around. I did it with a 5. Usually I do much thicker line art, and I probably shouldn't because I lose the detail. It's sort of strange that I decided to do it on this one because I did a really cartoony version of how I usually draw. And there you saw that it skipped the entire coloring process. And I'm gonna put some shading on in order to remedy that. And the red shading on the yellow made it turn a little bit more orange, and I like this a bit better. It has more of a golden glow to it, and it looks good. This is a very yellow design, like even with all of the outfits that she has on. Yeah, I did a face because I'm still trying to draw different types of faces, face expressions and stuff, trying to practice that. And I have the most trouble with happy face expressions. I don't know why they always look wrong. And yeah, so I tried to draw that. Yeah, it's very, very lopsided. Always looks wrong. This seemed like a very happy character. I had this idea for this character for a while. Getting the eyes to look in the proper direction, that's sort of difficult. Anyway, I think that the mouth not being in the right perspective does it. Because it's supposed to be in... I don't know, I couldn't decide whether this face was in 3/4 or straight on. And so most of the face is in... Yeah, it just switches, so it's in the wrong perspective. Very wrong perspective. And I tried to do the thing where there's folds under the eyes to make it look better. This line art layer, like this final line art layer, looks a bit better than it did in the sketch layers. Realized that the neck is a little bit thick right there. I've decided on her spot shape from that first one. but now I'm bringing it up to the face in order to test the proportions to make sure that it's proportionate, because that was something else that I was trying to work on with this drawing, this character sheet. And for these two, I did a line art around the spots, and then for the rest of them, the turnaround and the second design that is going to come up shortly, then I did not put line art. This is her office outfit, because the original idea was that she was supposed to work in an office, and the first outfit is her going to, like, running a marathon, doing a track meet or something as her hobby, and then this is her around the water cooler, or coffee cooler as it were, listening to someone very boring. And when I decided on that skirt for some reason, because long pants don't really work with that type of animal leg. And so I tried the skirt in order to make it look right. And she looks like she is a teacher, which might work. But yeah, I think I was in an office craze when I came up with this idea a year ago. And so I wanted her to be like in a paper company or something because of the office, but something like a desk job sort of thing. And I had some trouble with this expression because I wanted her to look bored, but I didn't want her to look too sad because she seems like a very cheerful character. And, if someone's talking to you, you don't want to have like a sad expression. That's more like, like if you're talking to someone at work anyway, you seem to not want to express that, oh, this person is making me so very bored right now. You want to try to be polite. So I was trying to get that exact vibe, but if it's too sad, then you're being rude. Had trouble with this coffee cup because I was dumb and I did not look up a reference for it. Because I'm like, I know how to draw a cylinder, I know how to draw a coffee cup, it's fine. And it's sort of at the wrong angle, and it doesn't look very detailed. It's way too simplistic. That's something I had trouble with, is making everything look sort of detailed while also being simplified. Because I don't want it to look too simple, or it's like I didn't even try. I did take some of the shading off of the original drawing so that I could get the right colors, and then it's roughly the same shape. And I'm color picking, and I tried a different painting technique this time around. Like, I learned how to use the actual painter, like, brushes. Like, usually I do, like, pretty hard brushes, or like I do a hard underlayer, and then I do, like, an airbrush on top of it, but this is a different brush. This is like a painting brush. And so you just put down, like, a layer of stuff, and then you put more layer on top of it, and then it just automatically sort of blends out a little bit. Like, that tie looks a little bit like an ascot. And there's her copy. She has two different types of mechanical legs there, one for running and one for, like, more formal events. Got her ears looked a little bit too big. I did not think about her hair being a little bit too fluffy, though. Like, the ears were disproportional, but the hair was fine. And I'm gonna stay with that. I'm gonna say that, yeah, she just has a different hairstyle that day. I like the color palette that I went with. It has, like, the whites and the dark green. I love dark green. And, I don't really like yellow as much, so having dark green, like, with the yellow, like, sort of made it easier for me to look at. And, like, tilting it a little bit more into the gold territory. These are the sketches for the turnaround, and I have it on, like, an animation timeline sort of thing, because it's gonna be somewhat animated and just swirl around in the corner. This took the longest amount of time in the entire video. Took so long to get this turnaround done, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do like a quick little thing up in the corner, but I can't really draw characters that are just standing up normally. So just standing up normally, like, should take like a very small amount of time. It should take like 30 minutes to get something like that done. And, you know, it's like you just copy and paste it, so it's like 30 minutes and then 5 minutes for each of them, and it should be quickly, but it took like a couple hours, probably, or like an hour to get each of these little drawings done. And I did still, like, I copied and pasted a lot of them, so that it's just, like, I just drew, like, that profile, and then I just drew it again. And I probably should have switched the tail around, because it wasn't until, like, I was watching the recording of it just spinning around in circles that I realized that the tail accidentally changes sides of the body because I just flipped the tail, and the tail is, like, in a very specific direction. So it's not like the tail, like, it just changes direction. It's, like, on the other side of the body, and it just does that. It doesn't, like, animate fluidly, it just glitches. And this is what I'm saying about not being able to draw someone standing up straight. For that one, you can see, like, her shoulders and stuff in the 3/4. You'll really see it when it gets to the 3/4 from behind. Part of the problem with this that I had was that when you're in the 3/4, it's not directly between the profile and the front on, like, either way. And so it's just, like, slightly more towards the front view, or yeah, both ways, slightly toward the front view or the back view. And so it just really has, like, this large gap between the 3/4 and the profile, and it sort of looks a little bit off. And I'm not entirely sure how to fix that. I guess, like, what you'd do is you'd have, like, a box or, like, a sphere or something, and then you'd, like, mark out exactly where the center line would be in order to be halfway between the front and the back. And that's a little bit of what you can see, like, with the tail, because, like, with the 3/4 view that I had, the tail looked fine, like, when it was in front of the body like that, and in the profile it looks fine. But then when it gets to the 3/4 and then goes from 3/4 to the front view, then it's sort of off. I put a center line in the middle of the drawing so that I could have her standing up straight, and I did a final line art pass. And I did them in fun colors, because why not? And then I would turn them black at the end, because it's black line art, to hold the colors. Very nice. And I just did a quick, like, black color pass, which might have been a slightly more complicated than necessary because of the painterly aspect of it. Her leg right there is the same color as her pants, which, it bothers me. I'm not sure if it would bother anyone else. But yeah, I had the previous layer on underneath her so that I could get the proportions right. And I had trouble doing the other eye that day. Like, you do 2 eyes and you draw one of them and it's perfect. You go like, yes. And then you try to draw the other one and it just looks crazy. I had trouble figuring out where the face tufts were gonna be. Have that hand go in there. Just tracing, like, a few of the things so that they're the same, getting the feet on the same layer. I changed it back and forth because, like, for one, you're gonna see it back and forth, but also because I always draw, like, people standing up a little bit wonky if I don't do that. I took the colors from the first layer that I just did, and then I brought them over to this one. So I copied the layer, and then from the copy, I just took little bits of pieces like that and then moved them over. And this was, like, a little bit faster. I'm not sure if it was too much faster. And so here's the part where the profile image, like, I accidentally cut it all out. And so I did a little bit of a sketching in the background sort of element. The little sketches, did, like, a background color. That purpley blue really works with the yellow, and it really works with the green. And it works with the whitish blue. Works. And this one I decided to do it in yellow as the line art color for the first pass before I turned it to black because it really showed up against that purple. I have a lot of trouble with this angle in particular. Mostly it's just feet, because everything else is pretty much the same, but then the feet you have to change so that you can see the toes. I mean, you can't see the toes. And I had trouble with the tail a little bit, figuring out where it's going to be layered. And I tried to, once again, take one of the previous layers and bring it on. I rubbed out just blended out the eyes there. And it was dark. I made the eyes dark so that you could see them. So then when I blended it out, then that back of the head looks sort of dark. And it is like very similar spots. I probably should have looked at what a cheetah looks like from multiple angles in order to do this, but I only really looked at it from the front. I watched it spin around for a bit back there. Yep, I am taking the line art, the sketch layer that I had of the previous back sketch, and I am using it as reference. The spin, 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 and I fixed up the hand a little bit there. And that should be about it for the video. I didn't really script out this, so I might go back and do a second pass and then edit the second pass again with the live that I just did. But yeah, tell me if you want me to draw more animal characters who work in her office or like around her town or anything, and you want me to do this again. But yeah, next video should be the Quetzal for my drawing animals from reference series. And so I'll see you then. Bye!